Episode 3, here we are. Welcome back, everybody. Car's Journey, my Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn Let's Play. Let's get back to where we started at, or where we ended off, I should say. What we did was we grabbed this, we went to this sword in this tree trunk. We grabbed this sword. We met Ida and Papalino, who we will find out who they are a little bit later. A big Trent, which is a gigantic walking tree in this game. They look robotic. It's kind of freaky. Comes out of nowhere and tries to attack us. So what we did was we had to fight the giant tree off, which is at the end of episode 2. If you missed that, I basically took care of the ads while they did all of the rest. You're not very powerful in that fight, so I do the little sub job. I go and I grab the little enemies that come out of the corner and take care of them while they just do the rest and cure me and do all the work. So that's where I'm at right now. I have to talk to Galfred to turn the sword back in. After the fight's over, you pull the sword out of the stump. The magic blade. So I'll hand that over. Get a cutscene here. I realized that episode 2, my volume is really high, so I lowered it for this one. It's still there, but I don't want it to be too loud and overpower my voice as it was doing a little bit in episode 2. I'm going to keep episode 2 the way it was. I was thinking about reshooting it, but then I'd have to go through and do all the story quests again, and I don't want to do that because that will just be a pain in the neck. I'd have to create the character again and do the same exact route as I did before, and that really wouldn't be fun. So I'm just going to keep it the way it is, and move on, basically. These guys have freaky masks. Wherever their eyes are, it's a void. Right there, they let you know that they are Ida and Papalino. Papalimo, I should say. If you didn't watch the second one, I'll link it in an annotation. They are researchers that are researching the 12's Wood, which is basically where we're at. Or at least that's what I get out of what the 12's Wood is. I don't think they actually come out and tell you what the 12's Wood is, but the 12's Wood, to my knowledge, is in this area that we're at right now, in the central shroud, or the shroud areas of Gridania, outside of Gridania. I just got level 7 there, which is nice. Eggs over Queasy. The next quest here. Obtain 8 Chigo eggs. Egg sacs from the Chigos. Sprint, so I can actually use my TP this time to get over there. I'm excited to unlock Dragoon, which this class turns into later. With the artifact armor, looks pretty awesome. If you don't know how classes work in this game, I am a Lancer right now. Once I hit level 30, I will gain the ability to become a Dragoon. And to become a Dragoon, I will need the class Pugilist to 15 and Lancer to 30. Basically what it is you take the job that would mainly convert into the class, you bring that to 30, and then you get the little subclass that requires to 15. Like when my main character, Maridon, is a white mage, I had to take Conjure to 30 and Arcanist to 15, and then I would be able to unlock white mage. And you basically get a stone down here where the soul crystal slot is on your character. And whenever you equip the soul crystal, you turn into that class. So I could be a Lancer at 50, and the game actually does count it as Lancer 50 to Dragoon 50. So it's all the same thing, except for when you equip the soul crystal, you get a few different abilities. I believe Jump is one for Dragoon, which looks awesome. It's like gigantic. Like a 3-mile leap in the air. a lot of the abilities, especially like the Dragoon abilities, are pretty iconic. Like Kamari from Final Fantasy X, and I always forget the character from Final Fantasy IV, I believe. Who would be? I don't think it's Cecil. Either Cecil or Kane. I believe it's Kane who is the Dragoon. I'll figure that out. But it's a pretty iconic class, if you ask me. It was also in Final Fantasy XI, and the part that bums me out is that you don't actually get the dragon as you did in Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI, you had a little pet dragon with you, which was pretty awesome. You got to name them and everything. It was pretty cool. Whenever you did a skill with your weapon, it'd breathe. It'd do like a breath attack. And it would do additional damage. It was pretty minuscule, but having the dragon there helping you poke the enemy was always pretty cool. Alright, the quest is complete. Let's do surveying the damage. Gotta recover a set of survey records, a surveyor's rope, and 2 boxes of surveyor instruments from a cave. And where's this cave? Cave's down there, so we can sprint. Use our TP to get down there quicker. Like I mentioned yesterday, the Disciples of War use TP for their attacks rather than MP, magic points, for what the Disciples of Magic use. So you don't want to sprint. You don't want to sprint before you fight, because then you use all your TP. Your sprint takes all your remaining TP and uses it to boost your movement speed. So that's not a smart thing to do if you're getting ready to go into battle. Let's put these yards in here. You can kind of find surveyor's instruments. And down too. I want to hear some opinions in the comments, like how you think this game looks so far. Do you think it looks good? I think the game is beautiful, and there are a lot of areas that look better than the Shroud, like Korthos, which is way later on, late 30s, early 40s. It's a snowy area that looks pretty amazing. And Maridon is pretty cool. There's a lot of crystal structures and stuff in there. It's pretty neat. I think the graphics are awesome, and the thing that really stunk about 1.0 is the fact that it had great graphics like this, but it was not optimized at all. You have my computer now that has a GTX 560. For all the tech people watching, it's an NVIDIA graphics card, which is, I believe, 2 generations ago now, because computer parts become obsolete in about 3 minutes after they're released. But that card is obviously very, very able to run this game very well. So if I had this card and I had 1.0, I'd probably be okay. If I had maybe a generation before that, I might be kind of screwed over from it, because the optimization for the game was utterly terrible. I find this other box of surveyor instruments. I never remember where it is. These stupid Yarzans do nothing but attack you. I'm gonna sprint away from them. Ah, now I got... Oh, there they are right there. Derp right in front of my face. Let me sprint away from these guys and lose them. I have 4 of them after me. Alright, now I got 2 after me. I should be fine now. 1. There we go. Well, let's run back and grab these surveyor instruments. I'm gonna have to attack this one right here. No, surprisingly not, unless it turns around. Okay, let's see here. We are going to go back. We're going to hit Bent Branch right here. Any of these indicators right here, the crystals, that's an etherite. Just like the big one we seen in episode 1 in the center of New Gridania. When I hit this now, I'll be able to teleport here. So now I'll be able to teleport outside the walls of Gridania, which is always useful. It's going to come into play a lot later during the game because they have you running all over the place. Becomes a pain in the neck, but they have you running all over the place. So these Aetherites are good to have. So if you need to be somewhere, if you need to get somewhere, you can get there quickly. When we unlock our first dungeon, we will actually need to teleport back here. So that Aetherite is very useful. The Aetherite is, if you're looking at doing fates after you level your first class and you ran out of quests here to do, this place for fates, the Central Shroud, is awesome. You can do fates from level 1 to, I think I did them around 14 to 15. Tons of them. A lot that pop. We got here something about Lou, a Lux of the Draw, Bleeding Green. That one, a Lux of the Draw, just ended. But there are a lot. On this end is the higher end of the area, but don't have to worry about that yet. It's a great place to do lower level fates. Alright, let's talk to Pauline. Hand these all over. Alright, we're going to take the Hempen Kex. They give Strength 1 and Dexterity 1. That's something I'd want as a damaging class. I believe the Dragoons focus mainly on Strength, but... Strength affects physical melee damage as well as preventing... damage prevented by parrying and blocking. Dexterity affects physical range damage as well as parry and block rate. So dexterity isn't really too important for Dragoons. It's mainly strength. We're gonna go over here and do Clever Girls. This fade over here. Hopefully we'll be able to make it. Oh yeah, we'll definitely be able to make this in time. The Annals of Naked Rock have ventured forth from their territory to hunt. Eliminate the pack before they begin feeding on small folk. And these Annals are actually good for my hunting log. If I'm not dealing enough damage to these guys because they die too quick. Which bites. Oh, no, actually I did. I did get credit for that. I didn't even see it. I'm just blind. Yeah, a lot of fates are like this, where they'll just throw enemies at you, and you just kill them, and you get good XP for it. That's why if I end up doing a fate party and stuff like that, I don't want to stream it if I'm spamming fates, because this right here, at least to me, is not very interesting to watch. It's not very entertaining. I'd rather stream things like me doing story or job quests outside of different towns and stuff like I have been doing. We have 560 experience points for maybe what? 3 minutes of work. That's not bad at this level. Later on, you start seeing the larger XP amounts, and that's how you can level up so quickly. I'm going to be doing Parasite Cleave. Apply Amber Urgent to the ailing trees and slay the parasite fungus. Let's use that. Pot of Amber Urgent. Probably butchering that word, but okay. Fungars look very different from what they did in Final Fantasy XI if you were a Final Fantasy XI player. The Fungars in 11 kind of reminded me of like a frog and a mushroom combined. They kind of have like frog legs, or almost like cricket legs, with like a big mushroom face. Sort of like this. But they didn't stand up on 2 feet. Obviously, they're like a cricket or a frog. They were on all 4s. These look, I don't know if I'd say happy, but they look less terrifying than the ones for Final Fantasy XI. The ones for Final Fantasy XI, you've seen Fungars and you're like, oh god, no, these are just fat little mushrooms. Alright, let's turn Parasite Cleave back in here. Whoop. And we will take the leather mitts. And we can take 15 wind shards to come with. And I got level 8. And Impulse Drive. Which, again, if you're a Final Fantasy player, you should notice that ability, because that was a weapon skill in Final Fantasy XI. Alright. I believe that was it that we had. I don't think I have any headpieces besides those. Alright. Now let's do Soiled Despoilers. And these are actually part of my honey. So I'm pretty sure I will be getting that. Impulse Drive delivers an attack with a potency of 100, and it's 180 when you're behind a target. So I'm behind this target. 17 damage, and then I'll do one in front of the target just to compare it. 9 damage. So you want to be behind a target when you use Impulse Drive as a Lancer. There I wasn't either. I only hit for 8. Alright, there's my hunting log for that. I got like 8 of them now, so I'm not done with them yet. That was 980 experience points just for killing 3 of them. The hunting log is great XP. That and Faith, as I said before, are a great way to level a class that you've already been through an area with. You just get so much XP from doing hunting logs. And then the great thing about the hunting logs is once I'm finally done everything, I'm done all the hunting, I'm done all the logs for rank 1, you get a nice reward up here. 2,500 experience points. Whenever finish doing that, I'll get the experience points for whatever my last target was, and then on top of that, I get my 2,500 experience points, and I'm a happy camper. Alright, we only have 2 more to go, so let's kill 2 more here. Slow him down. I had a few friends that were pretty afraid for the game coming out just because they didn't want Square Enix to drop the ball like they did in 1.0. 1.0 was sounding good, and then the beta came out, and the beta was just a bit of a disaster just because it was in the state of what 1.0 was to begin with. And we are now at A Realm Reborn, so you can tell that 1.0 really didn't do well. There were still people that subscribed. I have one of my friends that still kept subscribed when there was a subscription. For a long time, the game was free because it was just so in such a broken state that they didn't want to charge people to play it because they were basically playing a game that was not very fun. It didn't. I played 1.0. It didn't keep my interest. Like it just was. It was boring. They didn't have the hunting logs. They didn't really have very many quests. My friend who did play it said that there were instances, and there were only like a few though. So instance dungeons, that is. So they were moving in the right direction. The guy from, I know I'm bringing up Final Fantasy XI a lot, but the producer from Final Fantasy XI, Yoshi P, I don't remember his last name, it's a Japanese last name that I don't know off the top of my head. He took over the production of this game. That's why I feel it turned out way better, because, you know, without him, I think Final Fantasy XIV probably would have just been chalked up as a loss and wouldn't have been re-released. These right here, you'll see, are one of the first mobs that actually have something on the ground I have to move out of. You'll see it right there, that orange box. The reckless charge. If I stand in that orange box, I will feel it. I'll do it right here. And what I realized is I just did something from the hunting log. Got that done. I'll stand in the box here. Oh, I just dodged it. How about that? Just wondering why I just did that to her. Alright, I got one more hoglet. Right. Let me stand in there. There we go. And I parried. That's funny. But I only parried 22%. It hit me for 22 damage. So you can tell, if you don't get out of red things, if you don't get out of things on the ground, which we'll see later in different encounters, it'll hurt, and it could possibly kill you. I remember when I first started playing, there was one enemy I was fighting, and I couldn't remember. For some reason, it wasn't going through my mind to move, and I didn't see the circle, and I was getting my butt kicked. I was wondering, why am I getting hurt so badly? Well, it was because I was standing in things. I almost died from just a regular, normal mob like that pig back there, the hogs that I was fighting. We're gonna take the leather wristbands and the 1620 XP. The wrists. Equip that. And we're gonna get some rings here. Copper ring, or a bone ring. We're gonna take the copper ring when we do this. Soldier's breakfast. Got some eye drops for blindness. Alright. That's accepted. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, this guy's over here. We talk to him, turn that quest in. We'll take the leather belt. Leather belt. There we go. Alright, now let's go over to a soldier's breakfast. We gotta slay more anoles for those wolves. There's also a pretty nice fate that pops over here, so hopefully that'll pop up when I'm in the area. We'll kill the alpha knoll. That's the name of the enemy that pops there. Over in Naked Rock. Go. There's another red area you want to stay out of. Frost breath. But I think actually these might have been the enemies that I was fighting that I wasn't getting out of things, and I didn't see it in the landscape that I was on. So that frost breath does not feel good. Alright. There's 1 of 6. I'll show you. Frost breath doesn't feel good. Oh. Every time I'm trying to show you the reason you don't stand in red things, my character parries them and dodges it. There you go, 33 damage for that. 33 damage that is easily avoidable just by doing that, sidestepping. But there are still people at level 50 that think that it's totally okay to stand in that stuff and take it, and they they learned very quickly that it's definitely not a smart thing to do. Especially when you're fighting the primals on hard mode, which I only fought one, but if you stand in something in the ground, you're basically dead. I'm not going to get away who those primals are, we'll find that out later. I'm going to do Keen Flurry here. Since I have two on them, I want to try to parry and not get killed here. So I don't want to run back in town. It's not that far away, but... Okay. No, they're not going to help me. I don't need it, but... Right over here in this area where my cursor is, that's where the Alpha Null pops for the fate that pops in this area. There's an egg. No, there's no eggs there. I need 2 more eggs. Panel eggs. There might be one down here. Nope. Here so I don't link these. I'm digging the eye patch. I think the eye patch looks really cool on my character. Although the color scheme can go with the vomit green top and the gray kecks. Maybe if the top was gray it would look cool. But... Oh, look, there we go, right when I'm talking about it, the Alpha Null pop. There he is, the Alpha Null, level 9. He will beat the living hell out of me if I go in there by myself. There should be some players hopefully coming over here shortly. I'm doing them a favor too for the players that are coming over here. Because it becomes a pain in the butt when you're trying to kill the big monster for the fate and you have the little ones around you, aggroing you. There you go, level up, level 9. Let me look for some eggs while I wait for some people to show up for this fate. Because I'm not going to go in alone. Like I said, I'll get annihilated. Here's one right here on some Magitech armor. If you've played Final Fantasy VI, I have that on my main character, Maridon. You get that after you finish the storyline. They're pretty cool. You get some different music for when you ride them. When you ride the Chocobo, you get the classic Chocobo music. When you ride anything other than a Chocobo, you get something different, which I don't like as much, but... Alright, I think the time's come. I think we're gonna finally engage the Null Alpha. I don't know how we're gonna do it because we don't have any classes that can take a hit here. Slow it down there. The fates come in a few different varieties. You can come across fates like this, where it's one big monster you have to kill. There's also fates where you have to collect things off the ground, or you get the items that you're to collect by killing the different monsters. There's also escort ones. I think that's it for now. Oh, there's also ones where you have to go and you have to attack places. There's one in an area called Torino, which is in the Shroud. That is in... I believe that's South Shroud. Let's see. East Shroud. One of the two. But you basically have to attack this enemy. These like bandits. Their stronghold. I'm sorry, no, you have to defend that. Yeah, you have to defend that because they try to knock down walls. I'm wrong. But those are basically the varieties. Most of them all require you to kill things. The things where you, the fates where you gather stuff, you don't have to kill things there. You just have to gather a certain amount to get the full amount of XP out of it. Because all fates have a rank which you get. There's bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze being the least, gold being the most. And you just get a higher rewards for the better rank you achieve. A lot of them are based off of like the more actions you do. Like if I, on my white mage, if I cured a lot and kept the party alive a lot, it's probably like a certain amount of health points that you have to actually heal. You'll get a gold for it. If you're a tank, my friend said that if you use Flash, which is an ability to gain hate or threat from the monster, that'll actually net you some experience points. Right here you can see I got a gold. That's the little medal right there. It all depends on what class you're playing. There's an egg right there. Go down here and take that. With my Dragoon, it's all going to be about how much damage I deal. You have to deal a certain amount of damage depending on whatever rank you want. I mean, everyone strives for gold, but if you don't deal enough damage, you'll get something like silver or bronze. Bronze is not worth it. Silver is not really worth it either, but silver gives you a lot more experience than bronze does. I know that there have been... Oh, there's the last egg up there. I know that there have been fates that I've done where I show up late to them, and I'll get bronze for it, and it'll only give me like 100 XP or something very minuscule. See if I can grab it. No, that's not going to happen. I gotta kill it in one time. The Keen Flurry. Gotta love mobs that... Gotta love monsters that, aggro you. If you're new to MMOs, you don't know what aggro is. I've mentioned that a few times. Aggro is when you come up to an enemy, and when they see you, they start attacking you. And it's indicated in Final Fantasy XIV by this little red triangle and the yellow, it looks like a yellow face. Those monsters will aggro you, and they will chase you. Now some, like these down here that I'm about to run near, they'll have like a little blue face next to them, this right here. That right there means that they won't aggro you. They're non-aggressive. Aggressive and non-aggressive, you can also call it that as well. Let's run back to Gabby Nose Bower. We'll turn in a soldier's breakfast, which I'm sure I turn in those eggs and I get the meat from the annals, and then I probably hand it out to soldiers. I think that's what it is. I have to hand it into Sabu Kamazam. Let's say that's slow because I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's Square Enix being complicated like they always like to be. We're gonna go to Gilbert's Spire here. Grab this quest. I need to give him a high potion, which is easy. I'll go to the Bannock and buy a high potion. Just go give it to him. It's a free 1120 experience. It's not really free. You have to buy the high potion, but you go buy the high potion just to have it. And then once I turn in these story quests, I'll go turn the high potion back into him. High potion. One high potion for 146 gil. Turn that in. And once I turn that in, I'll come right back here and turn in the story quest and grab the other one that's available. And F for effort. Alright, hand that over. Alright, now let's go back to the banner. Use my sprint ability because I'm not going to be fighting anytime soon. Jump over the boxes. Talk to the Makote that has the ridiculous name. And we'll take the copper ring. That's a damage dealing ring. There we go. Oh, and we're going to get a new weapon here too. Bronze spear. An F for effort. Alright, I have to slay 4 black Fs. Fs, however you want to say it. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Let's pluralize it, just makes it sound like I'm saying the letter F. As you see, I'm getting ready to go into battle. I only have 600 PP. I'll be fine here, but later on, that probably wouldn't be a smart thing to do because it regenerates slow when you're in battle. Slower, I should say. Now you'll see how I just flashed a little bit. These the rings. Oh, wait, what just copper ring bound thing? If you look at the just say the hempen tabard, there's like a green line that's like right here. If you look on the actual tooltip where it says hempen tabard body, there's that green line, and then there's a blue line right there. You'll see me flash sometimes when that blue line reaches all the way up. That basically means that it's spirit bound, and that I can turn it into a item called materia. And materia is, if you played World of Warcraft, is like a gem slot, or is like a gem that you put in the gem slot of an item. It's basically like an extra enhancement to items that have slots where you can put the materia in. The only way you put the materia in is you have to actually find, just say I am looking for a materia for something that is a cloth item, like if I was a caster, or actually I believe this hempen tabard is, yeah, the hempen tabard is a cloth body piece, so I would have to have a weaver install the excuse me, I would have to have the weaver install the materia into the appropriate slot. So, finally got a bronze spear. Shinier. Alright, on that note, I'm going to call episode 3 right there. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. Check out our social media links in the description for Facebook and Twitter. And I will have episode 4 coming at probably around the beginning of next week. Weekends aren't good for me, so I can't really record anything. But stay tuned. Early next week, I should have our episode 4 of Car's Journey. And we will leave off where we ended on this one. Alright, take care, and have a good day.